Well, hello there, Tenno, and welcome back to another little lore episode where I am trying to educate myself on Tau and why. Because of that little teaser trailer dropped by DE leading up to Tennocon 2025 taking place on the 18th to 19th of July. But before we get into it, please drop me a like, comment and or sub and I'll be eternally grateful. Now, on to the Tau system. Now, firstly, what is it about that teaser that gave people the idea that the Tau system may be announced at Tennocon? Well, those sneaky devs are always teasing us. So if any of you were around and you remember the fun we had leading up to the 1999 release with all the ARG, you'll understand. But if we go further into the lore, the presence of Mag Prime, to be exact, and the colour of the place she lays, i.e. a dark blue light, we are further reminded of the Codex Entry for Mag, which is as follows. We sat strapped in, safeties off, waiting for the punch, waiting for death. Through my filthy porthole, I saw stars among the outlines of the other splinter ships, queuing for the solar rail. It would soon grip us with an incomprehensible power and cast us through the void into the mouth of our enemy. I watched the ships one by one bending and gone, each crammed with zero-tech soldiers sucking stale air, white-knuckling their percussion rifles, each filled with the desperation that comes from extinction. Our ship would be the last to cross the gap. Our ship had special cargo. It was essentially empty, just 10 men like me strapped in with the best zero-tech suits and weapons the Empire could build, and It stood in the aisle, a slender and eyeless metal form, a Tenno inside its Warframe, vaguely human, vaguely feminine. Was this armour or some ornate carapace for the monster that lived inside? I strained against the harness as the ship yawed for final approach. I could see the Tenno standing there freely, solemn and gold gleaming, oblivious to the inertial force. I had been until then a Tenno denier. They were ghosts, propaganda, twisted casualties of the Void era, not possibly real, yet here it was in the flesh. The Empire, in their desperation, was going to turn the demons loose and hope for the best. Who did we fear more, the enemy or this monster? We had our safeties off. Could we trust it? Then it didn't matter anymore. The punch came and our windows became blinding. When we could see again, our ship was somewhere else, shattered and dead in an instant. My lungs were flattened, eyes full of death. Ship debris glittered like a night snow. The alien blue star was dark and blinding beyond us. The countless articulating worm ships of our enemy, ringed in glowing discs, undulating and heat bursting the surviving soldiers like me. This is where I died. I was in our disc, sweeping over my right and setting my blood on fire. My vision flattened, the hearing muffled and buzzed. I could feel the side of my face going slack and wet. I was in a dying dream. I saw a bright spot blurring and weaving toward me. I felt a tug toward it from the metal clasps on my suit. It reached me, rising up, a gleaming beast, a plume of golden wings, rising and unfolding behind it, an angel. It snatched me from my death. I could feel my lungs fill as it wrapped me in its wings. Its void shield shimmered blue, strained under the enemy beams. I felt a sudden tug of acceleration. I closed my eyes and I held on like a child. I awoke on the floor, the sting of crisping flesh on my face and side. It was standing over me, the wings gone. I heard the cracking of weapons echoing down the corridor. Maybe the mission would be saved, but I was dying, and so I waved my hand to send it away. I felt a pistol thrust in my hand as I was heaved to my feet. The angel had saved me, pulled me from hell, but it would not pity me. I was to die on my feet by its side. I turned my good side toward the gunfire and raised the gun. It nodded, its outstretched metal hand surging and pulsing in ancient shapes as blue shimmered around me. It turned, drawing its blade, and together we surged headlong into the hailstorm of death and fire that awaited us. And we're interested in this excerpt because it's from Mag Prime's Codex Entry, and it mentions this dark blue sunlight of potentially the Tau system. And I'm just showing you some screenshots from the recent Tennocon 2025 teaser trailers and all that jazz, and the pictures on their website. It's all got this blue theme, this blue light theme going on across the whole thing, and pictures of Lua, the Tenno here holding Lua in their hands, and then Lua once it's destroyed and damaged here on the left. That's just a little picture on the side there. That's literally on the Warframe website if you go and have a look. So the dark blue light is mentioned. The Tau system has some lore. It's not a new thing, it's just something we haven't been able to visit in the game as of yet, but it's been around for quite a while. The Tau system is a place where the Archon decided to go and terraform it because they ran out of room and resources in the origin system where our beloved Sol Sun is, and you'll hear Arthur mentioning Sol in 1999 content. It's just so well linked. So I just want to give you a little bit of a reminder about the Tau link and the Void link. The Zariman is involved in this. There's so much lore. Now, I'm probably going to get some of it wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments kindly. And if you want to come to the Discord and discuss it, we have an updates and spoilers channel where we can speak freely about this kind of stuff, and it's really exciting. We love the story time. And yeah, let's get into Tau.
We are seasons. All of us, growing in the light, fading in the dark, at once the same, yet ever changed.
So yes, we're looking at the New War quest here. I shall explain why in a moment. But what is the Tau system, I hear you ask? Well, we haven't been able to go there in the game as of yet, so allow me to refresh your memories. The origin system had become overpopulated. The Archon Empire wanted more space to rule. They chose the Tau system. However, it required terraformation in order to be habitable. One of the first attempts to enter Tau, the Archon attempted a pre-colonization strategy attempt with a set of machines that would eventually come to be called the Sentients, a group of self-replicating, highly adaptable, terraforming machines. They were sent to the Tau system an indefinite amount of time before the fall of the Empire, likely utilizing conventional propulsion technology with the goal of building an interstellar solar rail, which I'm pretty sure that's what the railjack was called originally, on the solar rail maybe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, as they travelled in order to terraform the system of the Archon's arrival. Another notable attempt to reach the Tau system, can you guess, involved sending the colonist ship Zariman 10-0. That's right, the ship was to carry out an experimental void jump from Saturn to the outer gates without the use of a rail. The jump was ultimately a failure, as we all know now, and as once the ship started the jump, it didn't jump back and went missing into the void. Oh yes, this event became known as the void jump accident, and this is where our beloved Tenno got touched by the void and got their powers, and were able then to occupy the warframes that Ballas had created. Now, during this terraformation of Tau, the sovereigns Pragasa and Hunhao created the sentient beasts, unique sentients modelled after animals of ancient Earth. The members included Boreal, Amar and Nera. Does that ring any bells? That's right, that brings us straight to this New War quest, which we all loved. And also Pazuul, which, you know, you'll hear Pazuul talking and jibber-jabbering at you in the Archon hunts that we do weekly. Yeah, we don't take him on, but we do listen to his ramblings, and we're constantly trying to find out, like, is he telling the truth about Tau, or is he full of it? Anyway, with the Ram, Pazuul, acting as their leader, the beasts served as peacekeepers as the sentients terraformed the system, but they soon realised their makers would eventually lay the Tau system to waste, just as they had done to the origin system. So the sentients returned, instigating the events of the Old War. The solar rail that the Sentients built may have been completed and may have been used during the Old War by the Archon to send troops and warframes to fight the Sentients directly in their home. It was a futile attempt, as any ships that went through the rail were immediately reduced to debris. Oh dear. And after fighting and dying in the Old War, the sentient beasts were revived by Hera, who is Natar/Lotus's bro, during the New War as Archons, hybrid abominations of Warframe and sentience. Ballas, in a desperate bid to be rid of the Tenno, attempts to use the Pragusa, the mothership of the sentience, to escape to the Tau system. His plan was to have the Pragusa consume the Origin system's sun, Sol, to provide it with enough power to make a portal to Tau, sacrificing his Nama Empire and the lives of the entire system in the process. Hera, realizing this plan and his errors, he knew that this was going to doom the sentience. He defected to the Tenno's side in a bid to stop Ballas. But Ballas's plan was ultimately foiled by the joint effort of the Lotus and the Tenno, aka us being heroes.
Pazuul's faithful believe we can secure a place in Circle Tau if they massacre the undertakers.
Blood and glory we ascend. In ecstasy, we die. Can you say the same? All things ordained. I intended this. I planned it. Your murder. Our martyrdom. First day, how our father lifted you screaming from the manifold. How we sang.
So Archon Pazuul, he basically claims that he's receiving visions and guidance from Tau and often mentions it in his mad preachings during these Archon hunts that we do every week. During the spy missions on the Archon hunts, Lotus has us breaking into data vaults to see if Pazuul is really receiving visions from Tau. It is not known if Pazuul actually speaks the truth or if this is more of an Archon's mad ramblings. Now, the reason they kind of regard each other as brother and sister is because I didn't know this. I haven't figured it out. I'm so dumb. Archon Pazuul is possessing and using Hera's body now. Hera is Natar's brother that we saw in the New War, who does an about face and decides to help us because he doesn't want the Origin system to be destroyed by Ballas and his Tau jump on the Pragusa ship. And this is where it kind of got really interesting for me, because I was like, well, I know Hunhao is somehow a parental form for Natar and Hera, but if you've got a daddy, then you should have a mommy. And well, yeah.
Who destroyed the organ? Your way of life. Who do you not shadow to cleanse your despair in their blood? Tenno. Sever their heads, yet they rise again. Someone has hidden the Tenno essence, their truth from you. Lotus. I know where she hides the Tenno heart. A womb in the sky, forbidden to my kind, but where you will take me. I am Hunhao, sentient destroyer of worlds. By your hand, expose their heart. By my edge, leave it beating from its nest.
Any excuse to put that epic cinematic sequence in a video for the second dream. And that's where we are introduced to Hunhao, the sentient destroyer of worlds. Now, he was the father, and they refer to the Pragusa ship that Ballas is using here as the mothership of the sentience. So Pragusa and Hunhao are literally Natar's mama and papa. Isn't that adorable? So we have all of these links to the Tau system, all quietly, furtively building up here in the game. We even have, during the Hex quest, Albrechts Vessels quoted as saying, "Murmur expelled, Tau is in sight, and they've given their lives for this, so make it count. And I don't know if you know the lore behind Albrechts Vessels and the Sanctum Anatomica and his giant vessels, but he created them for a reason.
I went among the denizens of the plague year like a savior, my hands filled with healing. To those who volunteered, I brought more than mere health. Their bodies were primed. It needed only the Helminth infusions brought from my own time to work the alchemy of transformation. They have become partial Warframes, still in possession of their free will, yet enhanced, void-attuned, capable. Their humanity may not last. My deliverance may yet consume them, the human swallowed up in the sacred beast. This is the bargain we have made. Through our sacrifice, history will be saved. The sight of their technocyte-riddled cells mutating gave me fresh visions. I could take this material, work with it. Eagerly, I brought the samples back to Deimos and began to cultivate them. It was Lloyd who pointed out the singular attributes of the gray strain, how it stimulates growth to monstrous dimensions. Many thoughts converged in me then. What if, through precise biochemical engineering, I could create the equivalence of Warframes, yet built to a titanic scale? Surely such a legion could stand against the adversary? Assuming, of course, that an operator could be found. Not long after, the first of my vessels took form. A giant to battle giants. Merging the humanity of the man Arthur, the anatomical perfection of Ballas's Warframes, and the titanic potency of the gray strain. My saviors.
A giant to battle giants, you say, Albrecht. What giants might you mean? Now, we know that Albrecht is aware of the Archon era desire to colonize Tau. He's aware of Tau. What else he knows, we don't know, but because he's now linked to the man in the wall, and the man in the wall seems to be freaking everywhere, you know? Omnipresent, seems to be aware of stuff. I don't know the man in the wall's linked to Tau, but at the end of the New York War Quest, we have the man in the wall just rocking up randomly, and Lotus has to see him off. My goodness, that gives me tingles every single time. I love this game, and I just wanted to revisit some of these epic shots because this stuff is coming our way now. We know something is afoot, and they always make these epic kind of announcements at Tennocon. The stuff that gets you going, the stuff that gets you excited, the stuff that renews interest in the game that might be slacking. They are going to announce something really good. I'm really hoping everybody's right and that it is to do with the new Tau system, an addition to the star chart maybe, who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments. In the meantime, I just wanted to take us down memory lane. Feel free again to correct me in the comments or add things on or come to the Discord and have a little chitty chat. In the meantime, my darlings, I want to thank you for joining me for this little Tau refresh more of our memories. In the meantime, I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But you take care now and goodbye.